What's going on, everybody? Welcome to GmiasWorld, and what we're going to be discussing today is why do the pros pick the players that they pick on offense? All right, now I showed you guys defensively what the metas were for what the pros use and what you're most likely to see with any competitive Madden. Now keep in mind, a lot of these pro players, they had to play regulars and they had to play salary cap. Now, when you're looking at specific attributes, my job to you guys is to let you guys know exactly what matters. When you're looking at the reasoning behind why they have specific players, it depends. Because with Madden 18, a lot of the actual stats that they have, they don't really translate to the field. So you have to be very, very careful with that. For instance, I'm going to use this example right here with Michael Irvin. Michael Irvin has a 94 catch in traffic, but that doesn't translate to the field. So some people that utilize Michael Irvin will more likely utilize him because his speed is a 91 and his Excel is, pretty decent. You understand what I'm saying? Like, his cap is a little high, 63, so it might not be a card that will be used in salary cap. More likely, they would probably go with the Calvin Johnson or one Randy Moss. You know what I'm saying? Or fill up their O-line. Fill up their O-line with, like, bronzes. If you're going, like, specifically going straight pro for salary cap, that's what they would probably do. Now, we're not going to go over the salary cap. If you guys want me to go into salary cap and the sciences behind why the players that they use for salary cap are used, I can definitely do that for you guys. But this is just generally why pro players would pick these specific players in their lineup. Not that they're going to have all of them there at the same time, but specifically for why they would do it. Now, more than likely, because they have caps, and the caps, like I said, the caps are the little football with the top part that tells you what's going on. You know what I'm saying? The top left, like this guy is a 41. Mike Singletary is a 41. You see that little ball on the card? That's for salary cap, if you guys didn't know. And like I said, I'm trying to address everyone just so that there's less questions that are going to be asked about, what's salary cap? What do you mean by that? You have to go and use those footballs, like whatever the number's there. All your team has to add up to 750, I believe, at this current time right now for the salary cap. So you're like a real general manager and you're trying to keep your team under a certain type of cap space, right? So look now, these are the things you're looking for O-line wise. 91 and above with impact blocking is going to get you everything that you need for running the ball. Now keep in mind, if you are doing salary cap, you don't really need everyone on your O-line to have impact blocking. Depending on if you run to the right or the left, you're going to want those, those right, the tackles to have that impact block, but you don't necessarily need it for the inside. If you're like a stretch run player, stuff like that. If you run wham, obviously you got guards pulling and stuff like that. It would make more sense to have higher impact block like that. All right, I'm just trying to give you that insight. Even though I told you guys that I would go further in to salary cap, I just wanted to make sure I get that out there because I've had questions about, why do these guys use this? Why did he use that? Stuff like that. That's pretty much why. They're going to put the players in the places that they utilize them the most because you have to make the most out of the cap. All right? So now that we know that about the generalization of picking any one of these players, any one of these O-line players, you're primarily looking, whatever you're going to try to focus on, whether you run the ball, you pass the ball, or whatever like that, let me just make sure you guys understand this. The run block and the pass block, it doesn't really matter as much when it comes to what you're trying to do more of. For instance, if you look at Donald Penn, right, as the motivator, you can see that his run block is a 94, his pass block is a 93. It doesn't really matter. Like say his run block was a 94. Like look at this older card right here, right? The 92 run block and the 87 pass block. That's the Gauntlet Champion one. All right. Let's look at the right side. I'm just gonna give you this example. You don't really notice a change as far as his pass block goes. Okay? Because if the person that you're playing knows a specific type of blitz, it's still going to come in. Unless you ID him and also pray to baby Jesus. Unless you do both those things, he's still going to come in. So what I urge you to understand is the pass block, did I say pass block? The pass block mechanic, right? It's not really a focus that matters. The reason that I'm saying that is because no matter what old lineman that I've put there, they pretty much all pass block the same. If they're going to get spin move, they're going to get spin move regardless. It doesn't matter who's there. Stuff like that. You guys, every one of you guys know what I'm talking about. You can have the best O-line and play a guy with a stock defense and he's running around with bronze players and they're going to spin move your lineman. It's just certain plays are going to counteract certain plays. So if the defense picks like maybe, the 3-4 odd is a popular thing that a lot of these pro players are running around with right now and doing different things with, If they set their D-line to, for instance, crash out, and they're running to the outside, and you just leave your O-line basic, no matter how good your O-line is, no matter if they got secure pass blocker, all that other stupid stuff that they're telling you that matters, it doesn't matter about that. They're going to still get block shedded and stuff like that. What I will tell you is that the run block and the impact block, it definitely 100% matters. So what you're going to look for with your O-line is the highest run block possible and at least the minimum of 91 impact block. Now, the focus is all impact blocking for whether it's passing or running. Keep that in mind. And they got a decent impact, and don't even worry about the strength. Like, the strength don't matter O-line. Listen, I had weak O-linemen with high impact block, and it didn't matter. And I sit there and I try to figure this stuff out before I even tell you guys. Because I don't go by what other people are saying, even though you guys try to tell me, like, remember, earlier in the year, you guys were telling me, like, yo, Gmia, the meta is 91. The meta is 91 for zone coverage. And I still didn't listen to you guys until I labbed it myself and figured out that there was a slight difference with how dumb my corners reacted if they were under 91. So I try to take the time out to prove it to myself before I show it to you guys. So I will tell you this. The impact blocking is the most important thing on your O-line. All right? It's even above run block and pass block. But keep in mind, the pass block hasn't shown me that it mattered. Because I've played guys that had really, really bad D-lines, and they were blocked, just coming right in on Donald Penn. But when I run block, you see his run block and his impact block, whenever I would run the ball to his side on the left, he would be smashing and pancaking. So it's obvious that the pass block doesn't mean as much as the run block. So that way you guys understand that when you're looking for your O-lineman, you're primarily looking for, you know, the highest impact block, and that's the focus. Other than that, the run block is more important. Now, Mike Singletary and Christian Okoye are out of position. These guys are outright studs, all right? And they're like a steal. They're lower overall, but they ball out. And Okoye is very, very interesting because he has the identifier chem, which means you can see what your defensive opponent, what your opponent is doing on defense. And it's really, really clutch because it can help you make key plays depending on where your opponent is lining up. So just to give you an idea about that, I just wanted to make sure you know that identify, the eye right there, it's very, very good to have that. And if you can get it with a player for your O-line, that's going to really benefit you so you can know defensively, because a lot of our opponents like to play around in their corner and their safeties. So obviously, you would read that. You understand what I'm saying? So if he's on his corner, maybe hit him with play action. He thinks it's a run. He comes down, bomb him deep for 6, stuff like that. That's how you got to utilize this identify chem. Very, very important. And you might not see it a lot depending on, you know, how much cap room is available. But they are very, very, it's very, very good to have that. It's a very, very good, it's sort of like cheating. You know what I'm saying? Like seeing exactly where the person is so you don't have to guess, and you can know, like, if they're going to rush a gap, if you're running stretch to the right and you can't really tell what player he's on, these chems make it so that it's very, very easy to identify what's going on. So I would definitely urge you to have one of them on there. Obviously, if you don't really care about it, you don't have to. Like, it's not necessarily true that I need Okoye, but I really have him there because his impact block, he was better than the other guy that I had there. You know what I'm saying? And it just turns out that he had that chem. I had the other cowboy dude that was there. That guy sucked, and I got rid of him for Okoye. But it just turns out, like I said, he has identified it works better for me, but he's above the meta. If he wasn't above the meta of 91 impact block, I wouldn't care about this guy. This guy would be on the bench or sold, whichever one comes first. He would just be gone and nowhere near my team. But he has the meta, and he also has identified. So like I said, the most important thing is impact block, then run block. All right? All the other stuff, they're just putting numbers out there to make you feel good about yourself. Now, the tight end, right? It depends on how you utilize the tight end. A lot of you guys have been running around and mimicking what you see these pro players use, like the bunch, you know, the bunch tight end, bunch, whatever it is. And what's been happening is a lot of these players are being put on streaks. So the focus is, with these players, is to have decent run blocks. To have 80 plus is good. The reason that I keep Dwight Clark there is because he has an 88 speed and he has decent catching and a decent catch in traffic. Now, don't make those stats make you go crazy, because they're not going to catch the ball if they're touched. Okay? If they're like tapped, they won't. More than likely, the opponent that you're playing will catch the ball more than you. All right? And it's going to make you rage, but it's part of the game. Those stats don't particularly matter, the catching and the catch in traffic. If it's like 91, where his catching is right there, there is no meta for catching. because I have guys like Calvin Johnson that drops the ball if they're tapped. Doesn't matter, okay? None of that matters. What you're focused on right now, speed and run block. Now, some people have told me that strength matters. I don't think it does, because I've had like guys like Evan Ingram with 68 strength that blocks the same way as like Gronkowski. All right, just depending on the run the play that you're running. They're going to do different type of things because it's more geared toward the play than the players with specific plays. That's why you'll see pro players stay in specific sets and run specific plays. The more pitch, stuff like that, because they're going to block regardless of what their blocking is. You could add other people in, but what I've noticed this year is I don't even see the same guys putting old linemen as tight end anymore, because they probably realize that the run blocking or whatever it is based on the play, not the player. So what you're looking for as far as tight end goes, speed and run block, because your tight end is going to be in most sets with you and more than likely have to block for you. Now, Jordan Reed is there as my second string guy. You can see right there his run block is a 76. Both my guys have low run block. You guys watch my videos. You see I'm Audi 5000 with Mike Vick. I'm gone. And these are the dudes I got blocking if I'm in single back ace with 2 tight ends or whatever I'm doing. So I'm not going to tell you that there's a certain meta for the run block. I'm just telling you right now, I got 76 and 79. And if I need them to go on a drag or a streak, I got the speed enough for them at tight end, depending on if they're matched up against a linebacker or whatever. All right? They can still beat that coverage. That's what you got to focus on. Speed, and make sure your run block is in the 70s. All that other release and all that stuff like that, spec catch, it don't mean nothing, bro. Don't even worry about that. Don't focus on that stuff. Get a fast tight end with decent speed, and you're good to go. All right, now, like I just mentioned with the wide receivers, you can see Bo Jackson, you can see Calvin Johnson, Snow Beast. And you're probably like, wow, those guys are pretty good. Michael Irvin, I'm trying to figure out how he got to get rage sold immediately. Let me tell you something about receivers. I would tell you that speed matters, but then I would probably be lying to a certain point. Let me explain that. If you get an opponent that loves to press, based on the last update, it doesn't matter if it's zone, man, whatever it is. If they press and you have a decent speed receiver, it doesn't matter what their beat the press is, their release, anything like that. They're outrunning that player if they're faster than them, if they press. If they're backed off in zone, it doesn't matter if you have Gary the Snail from SpongeBob out there, they're going to stay with your player more than likely. Okay? So with that correlation, I'm trying to explain to you the basis of what speed really means in this game. Speed is good if your defense, if your opponent is playing dumb defense. Okay? When you press in this game, you're automatically getting burnt now after the most recent patch. Before that, you were able to press and just run with them all the way up the field. Like the video, if you guys know what I'm talking about. When the game first came out, you could press. They get a force field in front of them. It was all stupid, whatever like that. They still get that same force field, but they're able to like jump off the press now and run for 6. So just keep that in mind going forward. Speed does matter, but only to a certain point, okay? Depending on how your opponent is playing. Spec catch, they're going to jump up and do ridiculous things regardless. I don't think it's as important as it used to be. Catching at a 95 and the catching traffic at 92, there is no meta. They all drop the ball. Currently, right now, they all drop the ball in different situations. There is no guarantee, no matter what the card is, Antonio Brown, Jerry Rice, doesn't matter what card it is. They are going to drop the ball. I'm just being very, very clear with that. All play, I don't know what it is. Maybe they'll fix it soon. Maybe it won't be fixed. I don't know what's going on with it, but I'm just letting you guys and girls understand that that's what it is right now. So you want to focus on speed and acceleration. Okay? That's all you want to focus on. If you want to focus on like speed, acceleration, and run block, excuse me. The run block and the impact block, for instance, if you have Randy Moss, he has a very, very low impact block and run block. It's not going to help you in your run game. So you're going to want to make sure that they have decent. I focus more on, like the impact blocking in the 60s is pretty decent. Bo Jackson, you can see he's not pretty high, but sometimes I'll sub in Atwater, and you can see he's at a 90. You see what I'm saying? The impact block is very, very good right there. So those are things that you really need to understand. You can just, like for specific formations, have other receivers that block better and just put him in the game. All right? He's slower. You know what I'm saying? He's pretty slow, but he's not that, Atwater is not that bad, but he is slower though. Okay? Just so that we're clear about it, he is pretty slow when it comes to trying to make that play. You know what I'm talking about? Like this dude, I don't want to say he's garbage, but he doesn't really catch the ball like the other players do. He has the playmaker chem though, but he doesn't really catch the ball like that. So if you're going to use him, you can see up here that his speed, what was he, like an 88, 89 speed or something like that? Okay, so he's not really, 87. He's not really doing anything that is spectacular, but his impact block is huge. So if you put him in for a run play, a stretch play, whatever it is, he's going to pancake somebody. All right? So you're looking for speed, acceleration, impact block primarily. I don't even really focus on the run block or the pass block. I just look for impact block with all receivers running, whatever. Running backs I don't really care about. Running backs, I don't even look for the impact block, stuff like that. But for wide receivers, that's what these pros do. They look for specific traits that matter. And you'll see them have like a higher Randy Moss and stuff like that for speed and excel. That's what they have them there for. And then they have somebody else with good blocking, like a Demaryius Thomas or something like that. But those are the three factors that primarily people are focusing on in Madden 18. Speed, acceleration, impact block, or some type of blocking. Now, when you come to the fullback, like I told you, the impact block is primarily what you're going to need. You could get somebody that's decent, that doesn't have decent impact block or whatever like that, but has good run block. But this guy right here, I just have him there because he motivates the team to be garbage, bro. Like this dude right here sucks, but I have him in there. You see that right there? That 91? That means a lot. But I don't even use him most of the time. I usually have Adrian Peterson in there. And Adrian Peterson, you can see he's garbage with the impact blocking, but for some reason he blocks better than Aaron Ripkowski. So when it comes to fullback, I would go with the same thing as far as the impact blocking, but I'm letting you guys know. I don't know what it is about Adrian Peterson, this snow beast. Let me see. What is his awareness? Awareness is a 92. See, but this guy's a 90. See, I don't know. I really just don't know what it is, but yo, Adrian Peterson Snow Beast, when I put him in at fullback in the iPro, it's almost guaranteed I'm getting 5, 10 yards. Sometimes I'm breaking it for 6. So I would focus, again, with the fullback, primarily on impact block. And, you know, run block looks good, but again, impact block is key. Now, the running back. Michael Vick is by far the glitchiest running back in the game. So, elusiveness, spin move, juke, speed. Period. All 90s. You see those 90s? Say it again. Speed, spin move, juke move, elusiveness. Those things, and know how to juke, spin, whatever, you're juking the whole entire team. Okay? That's all. I don't care what running back you use. All 91s and above. I don't know if it's the meta, whatever, but like 91 and above. All right? 95 elusiveness, 96 struck move, 94 spin move, 95 speed. Those 4 things, acceleration, of course, but you're focusing on those 4 things because you're not going to get tackled if you have somebody with those attributes in those 90s. Mike Vick is by far the glitchiest in the game. Right now, as of now, he is the glitchiest running back in the game. So you're focusing on speed, spin move, juke move, elusiveness. Acceleration, of course, whatever. But if your speed is high, generally they give you a decent acceleration. All right? That's what you're focusing on. Your QB now. The only reason that I really have Tom Brady right now is because he has conductor. Other than that, he's a total bum that's going to possibly be, his wife's going to be in the knee very, very soon. But let me just explain something to you. You see that 88 throw power? I got a video coming soon. I'm going to show you. Dan the Man Marino has a 95 throw power. They both throw the ball the same way, the same distance. So I don't know what the meta of throw power is, and I'm not concerned about it. All I'm telling you is this. If you got a quarterback that has at least 88, I think you're good to go. Because I'm throwing deep balls to Calvin Johnson and Bo Jackson, and he's leading them out front. Just to give you an idea, all right? So what you're going to need to have is good short and mid throw. The deep throw accuracy, I've noticed if it's like 85 and above, it's good. Like Tom Brady misses throws deep, but not very often. But even when I had these other bums in, like Russell Wilson and stuff like that, he had an 83, and he threw it right on target. Okay? Ben Roethlisberger, we know he's a bum. He's at 86. He was throwing them on target for the most part. But then his short throw and his mid started to kind of take away from everything else. And that's why I'm telling you to focus on short throw and mid throw. Because that makes everything else about the quarterback better. All right? Everything else about the quarterback gets better. So when you guys have seen me in the past when I was running around with Ben Roethlisberger and he was missing this, missing that, it was usually the short and the mid throw that was contributing to that. Because if I would run an out route and it was deep, he would miss it. But in the 90s, any like Drew Brees, like whatever you got, when you got the 90s going on like that, you it's more likely that you would make an accurate throw. But Tom Brady, since the last tuning update, has been overthrowing everything. And I'm currently on the market looking to replace him. Just so you guys understand that. But the throw power at 88 is fine. He throws the ball the same distance as a 95 throw power quarterback, Dan Marino. And like I said, you guys will see that video as soon as I get a chance to put it out. All right, so what your focus is short, mid, a minimum of 88 throw power just to be safe, and throw deep. I would say 83 and above because Russell Wilson didn't really miss any deep throws. So the meta is probably 80 and above, anything above 70s. Because Cam Newton was in the 70s, he overthrew everything. So maybe it's just 80s, but I'm telling you right now, the 88 throws just like every other, even like Matthew Stafford. He throws the ball deeper than Matthew Stafford. Like, it's really crazy. Maybe it's just because it's Tom Brady and he's on the cover. I don't know what it is. But that's what you're looking for at the quarterback position. So that's everything explained about the mindset of how the pros pick their offense. Let me know if you have any other questions or comments. Feel free to leave a like, share, and our video goal for this video, we'll say, let's say 9,500 views. I'm going to see you guys and girls next time. One love.